Hello everyone, my name is Mehek. I hope you all are doing fine and safe, and I hope you guys are reading. Back with a new book this week. Okay, the initial motive, that I picked up this book was because it had this beautiful bookshelf made on it. It's got this silk smooth finish, and just see it for yourself. It's called Ex-Libris. It's by Michiko Kakutani. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. Okay, coming back to the book, I just love how the author has written the introduction. She has explained so well that why she fell in love with books, how was her first experience with books like, and what inspired her to read. In fact, she has, which I'm going to read it out to you. She's also explained us that why is she doing this. I mean, the motive behind curating 100 plus books and recommending them to us to read. So she's written, I'm trying to encourage you to read or reread these books because they deserve as wide an audience as possible, because they're affecting or timely or beautifully written, because they teach us something about the world or other people or our emotional lives, or simply because they remind us why we fell in love with reading in the first place. So that's a reason that why she has curated this book for all of us. So yeah, reading this book is actually like reading 100 plus book reviews together, wherein the author has curated memoirs, autobiographies, and some of the famous classics that we have seen in the history. Fiction, non-fiction, and all kinds of genres. She is curated well, and she's recommending all of us to read them. In fact, I'm really glad to pick up this book, because there are a lot of books which otherwise I would have not picked up, because they usually don't fall in the genre that I usually read about. So those books I would have never read or known about, and thanks to this book I know about those books, and I have definitely added it to my to be read list, and I'll be picking them soon. I'm going to read out some of the famous titles that I came across in this book that I think you might be interested in, which I really liked. And yeah, so I feel this book is actually a treasure. In fact, the author Michiko Kakutani and is when you read her reviews, you come to know that she's an intelligent reviewer. Now you might not read, like for example, there are 100 plus books recommended in this curation, but you might not read all the books that she has recommended, but each of her essays or recommendation in this book teaches you something, and provides you some valuable insight which is going to stay with you forever. So now I'm going to just name just few titles that that I really liked. The first one is the Americanah, which is about the blacks living in America. It's an emotional love story as well. It has drama and all those elements. So this is some book that I think I'm definitely going to pick up. The next is the Neopolitan Quartet, which is actually 4 books, but it talks about the day-to-day lives of women living in the 20th century. It's about 2 sisters, and how they are poles apart and how they live. One is very ambitious and one is a homely girl. So yeah, I think that also caught my attention. Then for the someone who is interested in reading about books about 9/11 and the war on terror, the author has shortlisted 3 books which are they can read. One is The Looming Tower, The Forever War, and Anatomy of Terror. So I read their reviews and it sounded quite interested for someone who wants to read on that topic. Another one, okay, this is something that I've already read, but in my teenage years, The Great Gatsby, which is, about the promises and disappointments of the American dream. But I read this when I was a teenager, and I was, I think, new to reading. And obviously, I think I would like to go back and read this, one of the famous classics, all over again. The next is The Sixth Extinction, which I think is something that all of us should be reading. It talks about how we are on the verge of mass extinction, like humans are the cause of all the ecological imbalance happening, and what exactly is happening in the nature around us. It talks about that. So this is one book I think I'm definitely going to read, and all of us should be reading about it. The next is Namesake, now by Jhumpa Lahiri. Now, I know you must be believing, like, how could I have not read this book? I've heard so much about this book, but, somehow I never picked it up. It's basically about, she writes about these immigrants in America, and here she captures the life of, the Ganguly family who, are very reluctant to shift to America, and, then soon after they have to ship back to India again, and how they miss their life in America. And I think, I was reading the review and I'm like, damn, why haven't I not read this interesting book as of now? So this is one book that I'm definitely going to come back again. Yeah, so these are some of the recommendations, that I really like from the author. Of course, she has recommended Harry Potter, Narnia, and other books that I've read. There are also mentions about Muhammad Ali books, which are really inspiring. So yeah, like I said, this book actually celebrates books. So, which is what I like about this. And in fact, I think this makes for a perfect gift for a reader or a book lover, and it looks wonderful being on your bookshelf. And I think if you have a friend or someone you know who loves to read, this makes for a great gift for them. Lastly, I think I'm going to read out, like always, my favorite quote on the books, which is here. It says that books makes immigrants of us all. It takes us away from home, but more important, it finds home for us everywhere, which is so true. I think I just, yeah, my books and my bookshelf is my home wherever it is, and I think my home is there. So yeah, that is all about this book. I hope you guys are reading, and let me know if you pick up this book. And it's a wonderful gift. It's December, Christmas month. Just give it to someone who loves to read, and I'm sure they're going to thank you. I'll see you next week with the new book. Take care, bye bye, and keep reading.